Let's talk pizza and P&L statements. So P&L statements is your profit and loss statement. You might have also heard it called an income statement or a statement of financial performance, or you might have heard of the misconception that it's called a P&L, the letter N, P&L statement, which actually is incorrect. It's P and L. It just happens to sound that way. Regardless of what you're calling it, ultimately what it comes down to is a single piece of paper that is aggregating or summing up two different types of transactions. It's summing up the revenue, meaning the money coming into your business, and it's summing up your expenses. And those expenses are categorized in different groupings and different areas, depending on your business, depending on the industry that you happen to be in. So what we're going to do is take a look at a pizza shop because we can all really easily understand what's a pizza shop. And we're going to walk through some of the larger categories you would expect to see on the P&L statement for a pizza shop. And hopefully as we go along, you can kind of draw some parallels to whatever business industry you happen to be in so that you can kind of build up a mental model of what would I expect to see on a P&L statement for my own company so that you can kind of look at them and not feel intimidated and start using those P&L statements as an actual tool to drive more profitability into your business. So let's start at the very top. If you are running a pizza shop, how are you making money? You're making money by selling pizzas to people. So your revenue number is going to be shown at the very top of your P&L statement. And ultimately, it's really just nothing more than a formula that says X number of pizzas times X dollars per pizza equals here's my total revenue, right? So that is going to be the foundation. Now, there can be some other little things that come into play, but let's keep things really simple for now. A lot of the line items on your P&L statement, though, are going to be different expense categories. So if we kind of think of that one piece of paper, you might have one or two lines that are categorizing, your pizza sales from maybe you have liquor sales out of your pizzeria or whatever that happens to be. You might have some different categories of revenue, but most of the line items on your P&L statement is going to be different expense categories. And so we're going to look at three broad expense categories you would expect for a pizza shop. Now, obviously, a pizza shop is going to have more than just three different expenses. This is just as a little bit of an example. So let's think about a pizzeria. What would you expect to see at a pizza shop? Well, you're going to see a kitchen, you're going to see a counter with a cash register, you're going to see, tables and chairs, you're going to see menus, you're going to see everything you would expect to see in a little pizza shop. So one category of expense that's going to show up on your P&L statement is going to be all of the annual and recurring and ongoing costs associated with keeping the pizza shop open, right? Keeping the lights on. An important distinction is the actual cost associated with those really, really big things I was talking about, actually like the building itself and the really big equipment is actually going to sit on a different document that we call your balance sheet. Your P&L statement is going to be the annual cost. So an example of that might be you might have to pay utilities, right? You go into a pizza shop and you expect the lights to be on. Well, that's going to be one of the annual expense items to kind of keep that up and running. Probably some other, cleaning supplies so that the tables are nice and clean and ready for customers as they come in. So every single category of cost that you can imagine associated with keeping the pizza shop kind of the way that you would expect it to be as a welcoming spot for customers. Now, another big category of expense is going to be the pizza itself, right? The raw ingredients. It's going to be the toppings. It's going to be the dough. It's going to be whatever you're actually putting onto that pizza. And that is going to typically fall under a special category on the P&L statement. That's a type of expense that we call Cogs, which really just means cost of goods sold. And the distinction here is that we kind of say these costs you can more directly associate with a specific customer or more directly associate with sales. Whereas, for example, in the previous example, keeping the lights on in the pizza shop, it's a little hard to say, order number 1, 2, 3, 4 is responsible for keeping, for us keeping these particular lights on. And then the third category is going to be labor. So if you're running a pizza shop, you're actually going to have a lot of employees, a lot of labor related costs, whether that's the people actually doing the cooking, whether that's the people doing the serving or taking different orders. All of those employee and labor costs are going to be another large category of expense on your P&L statement. I hope that these three very, very quick snippets of categories that you would see on a P&L statement has given you a little bit of a better idea, a little bit more tangible to kind of understand what's an income statement, what's a statement of financial performance. And hopefully you can kind of start to draw a few parallels to say, well, my business has employees, so my employees are chances are they're going to be included in an expense category, or I have direct items associated with what I sell. So hopefully this gives you a little bit of a introduction to a P&L statement. Be sure to subscribe to Finance Learning Lab YouTube channel for all kinds of more educational clips to hopefully make finance and accounting a little bit more fun for you. And if you're a small business owner and interested in getting a little bit more hands-on help and joining us for some live programs, be sure to check out financelearninglab.com.